Hello, I'm Dr. Dayle from Forest Grove Vet Clinic. Today, I'd like to help you better understand how to take care of a kitten.
Dr. Dayle, what supplies do I need for a new kitten?
Well, you need the basics, food, dishes, water bowl, some bedding, toys, but it's also important to think about their litter box and what kind of litter you're going to get and where you're going to put it. Also, kittens need to scratch, and so lots of scratching posts and towers where they can get out their kitten zoomies. Kittenhood is a great time to teach lots of new skills, things like wearing a collar or a harness and learning to love their carrier. So having all of those things on hand is a really good first start.
How do I kitten proof my home?
Kitten proofing your home can be a challenge. Kittens are very athletic and they're very smart, so they will get into just about anything. But you can do some things to help prevent them from getting into too much trouble. Putting potted plants up where they can't get to them, especially if they're toxic, and removing them from the house completely might be necessary. Keeping food and food waste away from the kitten's reach, so keeping counters clean, making sure the garbage is in a cat-proof container, uh, and then also making sure that the litter box is somewhere that isn't going to get overly dirty if they start flinging all their litter about.
What is the best diet for a growing kitten?
It's important that kittens eat kitten food. So if it says kitten food on the bag, you're already off to a great start. Some kittens still need to have their food softened or to eat wet food because their teeth are not up to the challenge of hard kibble. But as they get older, you can transition them on to a dry food or you can continue to feed a mixture of wet and dry.
How often should I feed my kitten?
Little kittens under 8 weeks of age probably should be eating around 4 times a day. They have little stomachs and can't hold a whole lot at once. As they get older, you can reduce that to 3 or 2 times a day. Your average kitten who's about 6 months old will be eating about 2 times a day.
When should I take my kitten to the vet for the first time?
You should bring your kitten to the vet as soon as you get them, within the first week or so. There's lots of things that we can discuss and probably some vaccines that are due.
What vaccines does a kitten need and when?
Kittens need some core vaccines when they're little. There's a combination called an FVRCP, which covers a bunch of respiratory viruses and cat distemper, and also feline leukemia virus vaccine is core for kittens. Ideally, we see them for their first vaccines when you get them, usually around 8 weeks of age. And sometimes there are boosters needed, and we'll see them again for a couple of more months.
How do I litter train my kitten?
Litter training kittens is really easy. Kittens have an instinct to dig before they use the bathroom and then to bury it after. So just making sure that they have a litter box nearby and that it's easy to find and easy for them to get into is most of the work.
What are some common health issues in kittens?
There's a few things that we see very commonly in kittens. The first thing is parasites. Sometimes that's intestinal worms and often ear mites. They also are prone to upper respiratory tract infections, which basically looks like a cold. They get watery eyes, red, a little bit of tearing, and also sniffly. Also really common in kittens is diarrhea. That can happen from stress or from abrupt food changes. So there are lots of things that we see commonly in kittens.
How do I socialize my kitten properly?
It's really important to introduce your kitten to lots of new and different things in a way that makes it positive and fun. Socialization to other people, to children, to other pets, to their kennel, to travel, all of these things are really important, but there's one golden rule, and that's to make it fun. You never want to do anything that forces the kitten to do something they don't like. Often food is a really good way to make them interested in a new activity, and you can often try that with good success.
What is the best way to introduce my kitten to other pets?
It's important that the kitten feels like they have an escape route when you're introducing them to other pets. Sometimes they'll want to approach and see the other animal, and sometimes they want to keep their distance. It's also important that the other pet feels safe and like they have an exit, because sometimes kittens can be a little bit much. So, making sure that you go slow, maybe taking a step before they're introduced so that they can smell each other, switching beds, or taking some toys and putting them in the room the kitten's in and taking some of the kitten's things and putting them out with the other pets. These are things that can help make the introduction go easier.
How often should I groom my kitten?
Cats are great in that they come with built-in brushes and will often do most of their grooming themselves. However, if you have a long-haired cat, a cat that likes to play in the sink or in the potted plants and get quite dirty, it's important that they learn to enjoy being brushed. Bathing cats is not generally something that needs to be done unless they've gotten really dirty.
What type of toys are best for kittens?
Toys that are too big to swallow are a good choice for kittens. If you have anything that has strings or dangly bits on it, it's really important to play with the kitten supervised. Those strings can become a real problem if they eat them.
How do I ensure my kitten gets enough exercise?
Having an indoor cat especially means that you're going to have a very energetic kitten and not a lot of space for them to run around. So you're going to need to make sure that they learn some skills to be able to play inside safely. Running, jumping, chasing a toy on a string, all of those are wonderful exercises. But you can also train your cat to do tricks. They can sit, they can shake, they can weave through your legs. Not only does that give them exercise, but it also gives them some extra skills that they might need later in life.
What are some signs of a healthy kitten?
Healthy kittens are playful and active, and they're also hungry. So, kittens that are running around, getting into things, even trying to steal food, are generally healthy.
When should I spay or neuter my kitten?
We generally recommend spaying and neutering around 6 months of age. Most kittens are developed enough for the anesthesia to be safe and haven't yet had any heat cycles or concerns with changes in behavior.
What should I do if my kitten has vomiting or diarrhea?
Vomiting and diarrhea can be really serious in kittens, and it's important to call right away. Sometimes we can treat it over the phone at home, but often we need to make sure that there aren't some serious things going on.
How can I create a safe and comfortable sleeping area for my kitten?
Kittens like to have somewhere warm that's not drafty and somewhere that's out of a high traffic area to sleep. Often, what works really well is using the bottom of their kennel or the kennel fully put together as a nice, safe place for them to sleep. Make it comfortable, they can have some toys in there and a food dish nearby. That works really, really well. If you have questions about kitten care, give us a call at 306 955 6111. We're always here for you.